Oh, I didn't see you there, web camera I just set up to make this video. I was too busy blinding myself. Alright, so there was a lot of enthusiasm in the comment section of that Q&A video, so we're gonna split this off into themes because I don't want to do one huge hour-long video, so I'm gonna tackle individual topics as we come, and so I sort of grouped a few together that were related to each other. Also, I'm gonna continually not look at the camera correctly because it's not a person. It's really hard to look at something that's not a person like it's a person. And eye contact is weird when it's a lens. I don't understand. Also, I can see myself, but on the other monitor, and that's a person, so I want to look at that, but it will never look back at me because it's on that monitor, and the camera's above this monitor, and so I can never look at myself while he's looking back at me. It's like real life. Oh, I can lens flare. I can J.J. Abrams this shit. Oh yeah. This is how we're doing it. Alright. So, Shadow Scythe asks, when you do become a full-time YouTuber, yes, I purposely said when and not if, how will it affect us as your subscribers? Will you, somehow, be putting out more content? Less, but more edited content? A more organized schedule? Or pretty much everything stay the same as it is now? I would say pretty much inevitably it would be more content, probably, because right now, I basically have like a 5-hour gap on weekdays between when I get home from work and when I have to stop for the night because of roommates and all that. And that's those are weekdays for me. It's like I have to binge record during the weekend basically to try to fix that, because if I go like 5 hours, you can get a decent amount done, but you've noticed I make a lot of videos probably, especially since I edit stuff out of them, which means I record them for even longer than you see. So if I get caught in traffic, that's one less video's worth of time. If I go shopping for food, or I cook, or both, that's another less video of time to do stuff. If I talk to somebody, like have human interaction for a little while and have an actual conversation with someone for a while, that's not a video being made. And so it's very difficult to maintain half the output I want to have. That's the whole reason why my schedule's weird and sloppy and stuff like that all the time, is because I can't keep up with my own things I'm trying to do. I jump on games right when they come out, because that's how you stay competitive as a new channel. As a smaller channel, is you have to attract viewers by playing things that they're looking up. A lot of you are here because I played some game close to launch in most cases, and then you subscribed in the early days and followed for a while, and then hopefully stuck around if you're watching this, I guess. But the difficulty thing about that is that games don't tend to come out in a specific pace that's conducive to that sometimes. Like when Life is Strange and Bloodborne come out on the same day, or when Fallout 4 and Rise of the Tomb Raider come out the same day, or anything comparable to that. Like games come out the same day, or games take more than a week to do, and then other games come out a week later, and then you have to do both of those at the same time. So that's how you get the weird schedules where it's like, I'm doing a Witcher video every other day, or a Shadowrun every other day, but a Destiny every day, and I try to prioritize based on views, but it's chaos. And the main thing there is time constraints. And that's mostly because I have a job I have to do on top of the fact that I'm doing this. And that's the biggest constraint I have. But on top of that, it's not even just about, well actually, for another part of the question, you asked about edited content. Edited content would definitely be happening more. Stuff like, a lot of you guys liked my Dark Souls 2 co-op series I did with Spider and Wander. We're currently filming another co-op series with with Wander and Bird to try to reboot that a bit. But we also, as you guys know, have that Destiny series with Rockwar and Wander, and trying to edit multiple perspective videos, like, I actually really enjoy the process of doing that, but trying to edit multiple perspective videos while working a job and doing a channel that does like 5 videos a day is almost impossible to schedule in a way that's really tough. So that I've always had a plan of like, let's do like 1 or 2 episodes every weekend, and then like literally anything comes up that weekend and immediately I lose that window of time where I could do that. So like, if Let's Plays were my job, then I would have time to do everything that I need to do to make this channel run the way I want it to. And that would mean more edited content, more consistent schedules, and probably more content overall. I would have, especially early on when I probably wouldn't have a good work-life balance, because I wouldn't know how to have free time, because I haven't had I haven't had free time in like 6 months, which is what I was starting to bring up there. This is something like, if me getting it, at some point I have to have a thing happen where like I have to either become full-time or I have to dial it down, because I basically don't have free time like all the time. Like, I get up in the morning, like first thing in the morning, and I set a bunch of videos to upload that were rendering overnight, and I give them thumbnails and script and titles and everything. Then I go to work for 8 hours, then I come home, then I record for like 5 hours, then it's 10 o'clock, and I edit for like 1 or 2 hours, and then maybe, if I'm lucky, I might watch an episode of something somewhere, but otherwise go to sleep for 6 hours, hopefully, at least 6 hours, then repeat the cycle and go back to work. And I'm making it work right now, but in the long term I can't keep doing that forever, because that's not a great way to run things. It's normal for someone who just got out of college, because it sucks for everyone right now. Everyone's either making no money or just having a general bad time, so that's just what happens. But yeah, at some point, I need to figure things out, so that would involve either taking the step forward to being a full-time YouTuber, and that's the one thing I do, and then I have a proper life set up for me, or I take the next step forward somewhere in my actual like geology-related career, and probably end up doing a more time-consuming job that's more tiring and results in me doing less YouTube. So one of these things is going to sort of cancel out the other at some point. So me getting full-time on YouTube would kind of, like, any support you guys give me is kind of how you can tip the scales one way or the other, because this has to be a temporary state for my life. I can't stay in the very busy form that am in right now forever. Which kind of takes us to the other comment from Eric Darcia. I would love to see you move beyond juggling the 2 lives and do what you love full-time. My question is, how can we help? Obviously donations and singing your praises in the street, but is the list longer than that? How do we get you to full-time YouTuber status? Donations are a big part, actually, especially for a channel my size, but as far as support goes, or just making the YouTube videos do better, it really does matter if you guys like videos, and you comment on videos, and you just, like, all forms of interaction. Like, even dislikes do well on YouTube. Like, that was... the weird YouTube algorithms are why Rebecca Black's Friday was the biggest video of the year when it came out, is because it had so many dislikes that it got promoted to be seen by everyone, because dislikes are actually just a form of interaction, and they actually improve the search rankings of a video. It's like, the more you guys interact with my videos, the more they get seen. And I've been tossing back and forth on this. I've been like, I don't want to beg for likes at the end of every video, but I've definitely been noticing that, like, there's videos I'll get where people will be very enthusiastic about the series, like, when are we gonna get another episode? When's it gonna come out? And then it comes out and like, yay, it's another episode, and like, this is a great episode, and those comments are great. Comments are really good in general, not only because they're interactive, but they're also, like, when they're like that, they're encouraging me to keep going anyway. But I notice sometimes that there's also videos where the number of positive comments actually outnumbers the number of likes on the video, and it's like, I mean, comments are cool, but also maybe click that button. That'd be cool too. Because when I get 6,000 subscribers and a video has like 100 views, but then it has 1 like, I can't help it. Like, that's a weird ratio. Like, I need to figure out how to encourage people to like videos, but I also don't want to have a reminder in the middle of every video, like as a pop-up saying to like videos, because that's also annoying, and I don't like that in videos, so I'd rather not do that. Also, it's more work and editing for me to forget to do when I'm tired, editing at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. That's just not... I don't need that added on. But yes, if you want to help videos, like them, share them if you think there's a reason to share them. I'm bad at sharing content. But likes and comments are interaction, and those help the YouTube search algorithms, so that when people look up that game, or are watching videos of other games, other videos of that game, I'll be more likely to show up in the suggested videos for the search results or the related videos. On top of interactions, that whole Patreon thing is actually kind of a big deal. In the short time since I launched my Patreon account, it's actually already caught up with and matched my income I get from ad revenue on YouTube. So that's starting to look more and more like it's the most realistic thing that could actually grow at a rate that could lead to real consequences in my life. Because right now that's only from like a dozen people total. So if I could actually get a bunch of people to chip in into the Patreon thing, I could potentially be going full-time on this at a way smaller channel size than people normally would be able to back before this whole crowdfunding thing was even a process. Is crowdfunding the right word for Patreon? They call it that on Kickstarter. I don't know. But like right now, right now the internet makes up about 25% of my income, and Patreon currently makes up about half of that. So like that's new. Like it took me 2 years to get my channel to get where it is on income, but it took like 2 months for Patreon to get where it is, and that's a really big distinction. So if I could just get a bunch of people to just put a little bit in the Patreon, then just like that could actually just skyrocket me into suddenly being able to afford, for example, paying rent purely off of internet income, and then we could slowly move forward to like, if I can pay rent, and I can pay food, and I have that certain gap you need for paying for the taxes on the income, suddenly it's like, I guess I could just do this full-time all of a sudden. And that's surprisingly possible. Like, it's way more attainable than it ever felt, but it's also something I have zero control over. I cannot do anything to specifically increase my income, so I'm kind of at the mercy of the internet versus the mercy of, will I get a new job at some point, and just seeing what happens with that kind of stuff. It's all strange. I'm very powerless in both halves of my career options right now. It's a weird feeling. I should probably reiterate the actual perks of my Patreon for people that don't already know. Basically, everyone who supports my Patreon on any level, they get to vote in the monthly game that's chosen for Patreon. So 2 months ago, or last month I mean, it was Crash Bandicoot, and this month it is Super Meat Boy. And so that whole process is, if you donated money on my Patreon, then I basically send you guys all out an email, and you get to suggest a game. And then once this game suggestion happens, I then send out another email with the list that you guys all generated that way, and you guys vote on which games that other people have suggested that you like. And then the winner is Crash Bandicoot and Super Meat Boy so far. So it's like a democratically chosen Let's Play series that you guys put me through, and I have to play it whether I like it or not. And people have suggested very evil things, but they haven't won yet, and we'll see how that goes. And higher tiers, people who pledge $15, those people get double the vote basically. And by the way, all the reward tiers on my Patreon only exist because someone was already pledging that amount, and I felt bad, so I was like, let's create a reward for these people, because when I made the Patreon, I thought, wow, maybe I'll get like 30 people to pledge like $2 each. Would be like the crazy dream, but instead, the weirdest thing happened is that a small number of people supported in large numbers, and that was a surprise. So I started inventing perks to reward these people that were shockingly loyal and willing to give money for interesting reasons, and yeah, I'm very thankful, and it's a weird feeling. So $15 people are the ones that you see at the end of credits. Like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that everyone gets their name in the credits at the end of the videos. The people who pledge $15, they get double the vote, and their names are those ones that are in yellow. And you might have noticed that a lot of those names are in yellow. Like, half of them are in yellow, because like half of the people who support me on Patreon do so in weirdly large numbers, which is awesome. $25 gives you a sponsored video every month. That means you get to pick a game from my really extensive library that I've accumulated over the years, thanks to the magic of Humble Bundles and digital purchases at $2 each, and sometimes free codes, because I used to write for some review sites and stuff. Basically, you pick a game from the list, and I play it for an hour or more. It's been like 70 minutes per video so far, I think, and I put that up at some point during the month. Then some crazy people, like 2 people, pledged $50 when there wasn't a reward for that, so I decided that the $50 reward is 2 videos a month. I might come up with something cooler to stack on top of that at some point, because it's disappointing that it's just double the reward, but that's the first thing I could come up with. And so that leads to the reason why we're gonna have 2 Fallout videos this month. and 2 dust videos this month because those people are insane, and it doubled the highest tier that I even had in existence so far. It's been very interesting. But yeah, if you appreciate the amount of work I put into this, which is a lot of work, like, I do more than I invest more time into this channel than people do at full-time jobs usually. If you appreciate that and you are capable and willing, then you can go to patreon.com/SebastianSB and you can just chip in a little money, and every little bit counts. Just because if I can get a lot of people to do that, then suddenly that builds up to a whole lot, even if each individual donation's not that big of a deal. If you can't or don't want to or whatever, don't feel bad, it's fine. This is the internet where everyone expects like free video content, and just the fact that you're watching my videos and generating ad revenue in the first place means that I'm still making money anyway. Although it is noteworthy that, like, basically donating any amount of money to anyone's Patreon account is kind of like getting, like, guilt absolution for if you use ad block, because it takes, like, you could just give someone $1, and that's kind of like watching 1,000 of their videos, because ad revenue is based on getting thousands and thousands and thousands of views every single day, all the time, whereas just giving someone $1 is actually a big deal. Like, I'm serious, like, anyone who gives a YouTuber $1 is making them more money than they individually will by watching videos from their channel probably ever. Like, even my most loyal viewers are relatively unlikely to have watched 1,000 videos to generate the $1 in ad revenue they're probably going to make. And that's like squishy math, but it's actually more true than you'd think, is that ad revenue, despite how much time it uses up of your guys' time, does not really make people that much money. In fact, if I was making enough money on Patreon, I would probably just turn off ads altogether, but you'd have to be making a fair enough at that point to completely absolve the ad revenue, because the ads, you can almost think of people that make money via ads like the silent majority or something. Like, the Patreon is a small group of really loud people with amazing support, but then the 99.9% of my audience only generates money via ads, which is why the ads need to stay on, because that's where a lot of the income still comes from. If and when you take on games full-time, what title would you call yourself? What would go on your business card? LPer, pro gamer, YouTuber? I'm a Google contractor. I don't know if that's technically accurate. I don't know how business cards work. I'm not a very professional person. Well guys, that's gonna be it for today. Thanks for watching like always, I'll see you next time, and I'll be answering more questions. I got them all saved into a document. Lens flare. Lens flare. Ooh, you can see it now. It doesn't work. It doesn't work when it's in frame, dummy. Ooh. I've got your questions so far saved into a document, so I'll go through them when I get time. We'll have a series of videos over time about this stuff. And if you have questions, you can ask them here in the comments, and I'll keep track of those too, and we'll get to those later. I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Seriously.